Well, the Remain campaign got a boost today in the form of this post on Instagram from David Beckham. There he is alongside his old Manchester United teammate Eric Cantona, and along with that image he said, "For our children and their children, we should be facing the problems of the world together and not alone. For these reasons, I'm voting to Remain." I should add that the Leave campaign has told us that former England internationals John Barnes and Sol Campbell are supporting their cause. Frankly, quite where former footballers fit into the political equation here in the UK, I'll let you decide, but it's worth me mentioning, no doubt. Let's talk to a couple of those who are going to be attending the BBC debate later on. I'm joined by Harpreet and John. Good to see you both.
Hi.
And do you listen to David Beckham when he says which way he's going?
I usually like David Beckham, but I don't agree with him on this count.
Yeah, I can tell by your T-shirt which way you're going.
No.
Why?
Well, I'd like to live in an independent, democratic country. I think the EU is a failed experiment from the 1950s, and it's no relevance today.
Harpreet, a lot of people, I've been talking to people in this queue over the last couple of hours, a lot of people are mentioning democracy and their concerns about it with reference to the EU.
Sure.
Are you concerned about it?
Well, I am concerned about it. Originally, if truth be told, I was out. Being a former practicing solicitor and actually studied European Union law, fundamentally, I feel that it's better to remain within Europe. My wife's 6.5 months pregnant. Would I want my children to be brought up in an inward-looking Britain or an outward-looking Britain? I know what the answer is to that, but fundamentally, I think what this debate has done is it's encouraged people to talk, and fundamentally in Brussels, I hope they do realise that there are some parts of it that needs to be reformed, and I feel that we're most probably better off trying to reform Europe within Europe rather than outside it.
Well, I think they definitely do need to reform, but as we've seen with David Cameron's negotiations, it's virtually impossible to do that from within.
And in terms of the economy, because all of us worry about that in one form or another, there have been umpteen warnings that this could be damaging to Britain's economy if there was a Leave vote. Are you worried?
I'm not worried. I think they really are scare stories. A lot of these predictions, I'm a mathematical modeller, and a lot of these predictions are based way out in the future on very, very flimsy data. So I just don't think they're true. We're the 5th largest economy in the world. We'll be fine on our own. We were before, we will be again.
I think that's a fair point. However, working in corporate foreign exchange, I speak to a lot of businesses, a lot of corporate companies who are actually holding on, investing within the United Kingdom until this kind of settles down. Fundamentally, if we were to come out, there's absolutely no doubt that we are going to face a situation where economically that we're going to be worse off, certainly in the short term. Long term, whether we vote in or out, we don't know, because no one's got a crystal ball. But certainly in the short term, if we were to come out of Europe, we'll be worse off.
Now, we're broadcasting all over the world, and the whole world is paying very close attention. Can you compare your experience of thinking about this referendum with the general election? How would you describe to people watching from outside of the UK the difference?
Well, there's no comparison really. Every vote counts in this election, whereas in the local elections and the general election, often people vote for the same party year after year and never get them in, whereas in this case, your vote will count.
Yeah, and I agree. I think fundamentally a lot of it's actually going to come down to demographics, what the weather's going to be like tomorrow, and if we're expecting similar sort of sunshine, then I'm sure we're going to have a great turnout. I have a lot of clients in Europe, and they're watching this very closely, and this will have far consequences. This vote will have far consequences, regardless of whether we stay in or out. People are watching this very closely.
Good to speak to both of you. Enjoy the debate. I'm sure you will. I'll let you get in. One thing I should emphasise to those of you watching Outside Source is that this is a simple equation. If there is one more vote for Leave or Remain, that will be it. It's a straight count. There are no constituencies or anything like that. They simply tot up the votes, and the side which gets the most wins the day. You can get more information on this on the BBC News app and on the BBC News website. I'm live with you here from Wembley in North London.